cute. She was like, I guess you want to know what it was like, didn't you? I was like, I think cancer's adorable.
So cute.
Let's talk about your non-porn life.
My non-porn
Yeah, like, for the benefits of the audience. Explain kind of how you got into VR.
I thought VR was really cool, and I wanted to be in VR porn because it was super obviously going to be a really cool porn thing. But like, I'm not fucking famous, especially back in that day. Like, I was girl only, and I wasn't, I wasn't the first pick for cool new technology attempts in the industry. So I figured eventually someone's going to make VR porn, and maybe in like 5 years I'll actually get fucking cast in it. But I was laying around in bed, jerking off, reading Reddit, and I saw someone post about how they wanted to make VR porn, but they didn't know how to find performers. And I was like, well, I'm a performer. I want to do it. I didn't know how to find someone who would fucking shoot me for it. So we go back and forth a little bit. I send some pictures, send my rates. They agree. They're going to fly me out to the East Coast, and we're going to shoot some VR solos. And at the time, there was only one other company doing any kind of VR porn.
Okay.
So I fly out. I meet up with the director at the train station. He doesn't send me like a picture or anything because his phone is broken. And I'm like, I'm gonna get murdered.
I was just gonna say,
I'm a millennial, dude. I don't care about living. So I meet up. I'm at the train station. I'm looking around. Where the fuck is the producer? There's some business dudes who I'm sure would love to talk about where they work on the hill, because DC. A mom with a stroller, some fucking teenager. There's no porn director here. Then the fucking teenager comes over to me and he's like, hi, are you Ella? And I'm like, oh fuck, how old are you? He wasn't a teenager. He was 20. I was wrong. We go to shoot. We shoot in our houses all the fucking time. How often do you shoot in your house?
Pretty often. Yeah.
Yeah, so when you told me, we'll be shooting at my apartment, I was like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, it sounds legit. We get there, it's his fucking college dorm, and his roommates are playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, this really is a porno. And this is how, like, a really good porno starts.
Yeah, and, like, I'm dressed like a performer in Los Angeles, like a toddler with very permissive parents. And these are all a bunch of, like, very milk toast.
Yes, bitch! Like a toddler with permissive parents.
And these are
milk
toast fucking physics majors, so they're like clothed, and that's the extent of fashion.
Right.
So I'm like, oh hi, yeah, I'm Ella. You guys have no idea that your roommate flew a porn star out here. No.
But the fucking the temerity of that, like, kids today.
I know, dude.
Kids today just go on Reddit and just order porn stars in their dorm room. He's not jacking off to porn. He's literally just making it. Like, it's that kind of thinking, like, move fast and break shit, right? That's the Silicon Valley and peak fucking... That's so Silicon Valley that, like, a child orders a porn star and then shoots porn with her and, like, doesn't fuck her. Like...
like business partners.
Yeah, that's such a fucking Asperger's wall walker thing to do.
Oh my god, it was very surreal. It was very weird science, and we realized, like, we have fucking nothing in common in terms of our skill sets. We have no redundancy, which is really good if you want to work together, because if you both have the same skill sets, then you both have the same gaps in your skill sets, right?
Right.
So we were kind of a perfect pair when we started a company together, and we did some of the first ever VR porn, but not the very first, but we did the first, we used a method to capture performers where I would use a time of flight depth camera, and I would use a program where I could set the capture space on 3 axes.
Okay.
And then it would only capture what's in that. So I can throw a girl, like, on a little platform, and, like, it doesn't matter if she's in my house and it looks like trash, because I'm only capturing, like, this area, this space.
Okay.
And then we place them into a digitally rendered environment, and that was the first time that anyone had done that sort of, like, almost kind of photogrammetry, but not quite. And then we used that to make a dating simulator where you could date me in VR. So it opens on, like, you're in a rainy cafe and I'm across from you and I introduce myself, and then you have, like, 3 options of what you want to say back, and you can be, polite, you can nag me, or you can be sexual.
Okay.
And you don't know this because it's a hidden system, but there are actually points that are assigned to you based on what you choose. So if you're nice to me, you gain points. If you're mean, you lose points. And if you say something sexual before you hit a certain point threshold, I'm fucking out of there. So it was like a behavioral learning tool. Like,
and they need that. And they need that.
They need that. And we even had a way to sort of detect their gaze. So if they're looking at my tits, I'm like, excuse me, my eyes are up here.
Oh, wow, okay.
So we did that, and it was cool. It was kind of corny because it was like we sketched out the conversation tree in like a morning. So, you know, it was fine. But it felt like you were really talking to someone. It felt like you were interacting with a real person. So we decided to make a live broadcast platform so you could actually talk to real people. And so we made the first live webcam platform. I mean, live broadcasting all in VR. So I'm the world's first VR cam girl.
Okay.
And we licensed that out for a few years, and then we shut that down to move into the non-adult space. So now I've got the non-adult live broadcast platform, which yesterday was our 1-year anniversary of launching.
Okay.
So that was cool. And yeah, that's sort of how I got into VR. So I worked for Cam4. We licensed our technology to them, and then we worked for them for a few years. Then I became the chief marketing officer of an adult VR headset company, which I left a few months ago for, you know, various reasons. But, you know, I had a good time for the most part working there.
So when did you become a grown-up? Because you said things like licensing and licensing. And I was like, those sound like words that I hear grown-ups use.
Exactly.
I have highly marketable skills, but unfortunately that market doesn't pay.
Yeah.
There is an incredible market for stand-up comedy. Like, everyone wants comedy.
Yeah.
They love a comedy show, but no one wants to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
So the concept of fame and popularity within the adult industry is really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, it's that we have this concept of who's a popular performer, this and that, but then like outside the realm of adult, I would think that in some circles I'm probably more famous than a lot of porn girls that are like way fucking popular, because of like where I hang out at, you know what I mean? Like, because I do stand up, and because of like the people I tweet with, and kind of the shows I've done and things like that, whereas like
you've diversified your portfolio.
Yeah. But like, whereas like that doesn't translate necessarily to like I would be like, oh yeah, like I'm an unknown porn star, but there's a whole segment of the population where like I'm the only porn star they know by name.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think you're the same way, where it's like, because you're so fucking nerdy, like your Reddit kind of your Reddit existence and like the fandoms and kind of like those sorts of things, I'm sure that like in the sort of nerdy tech place, like you probably actually are like a more popular porn star in terms of people just knowing who you are, that you exist.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair enough.
There'll be people that in our industry, there will be people that like most of us have never heard of. Like, and nowadays it's like cam girls.
Yeah.
And there's like a whole hierarchy now. Like, cam girls are like better than porn girls, because
but that hierarchy has always been there.
Well, no, it used to be like cam girls were like, ugh, whatever, and now some cam girls have become like, oh, like that's the untouchable. It's like, it's like the modern version of the girl only performer of yesteryear. Do you see what I'm saying? Like that kind of like untouched by man.
Yeah.
You know, those cam girls, the ones making the most fucking money hoeing at the fucking AVN convention. Yep. I think more and more about like the world we're in now, where it's like cam girls, YouTube stars, like these people are like, it's serious money, and these people are seriously famous. Like, you know, VidCon, you go to these places and these people, like the lines are like around the room, and you go to a porn convention, you never see lines around the booths for the girls. I mean, maybe at one time you did, but like not anymore. And now it's, you know, people like James Charles is, to a lot of people, is more famous than Matthew McConaughey. You know, everyone knows who Jeffree Star is, or that someone like Jeffree Star is like in Calabasas next door to the Kardashians. You know what I mean? Which is kind of crazy when you think about it, because you're talking about people with like that started with like webcams and like MySpace pages.
Right. I think people want to feel like they have a relationship with this person, and when it's something that is super lo-fi and like just a super low rent production, it feels like this is someone who I could easily be friends with. Like if I ran into them, I could be like, oh hey, I'm subscribed to you on YouTube, so we're friends now. Especially when people talk about their lives a lot. And I mean, I think porn stars had that for a long time because we share so much of ourselves.
Right.
But like you were saying, like a lot of it is still performance, and it's not authentic, and people are reaching more towards these authentic creators because it feels like they're actually friends with them.
Now, porn is like, because porn has become DIY, and I think for a lot of girls at first they were like, that's not glamorous. And then they started seeing how much money these girls were making that were like early adopters of like ManyVids and things like this. We look for YouTubers and stuff like that because we're attracted to that authenticity that translates over to like porn consumption.
Yeah.
Which is like now too why they want you to like tweet about it. Like as soon as someone watches a porn scene of mine that they like, they try to find me on Instagram and Twitter, and they want to like DM me or tweet at me and tell, you know what I mean? Like they want to know more about me.
So yeah, we went to Spirit and they were like, do you want to donate to the Spirit Kids or fucking whatever foundation?
Do you like children? Do you care about kids?
It's this dumb guilt trip that has become normalized for businesses to try to guilt you into parting with more of your money when you're just trying to buy some fucking groceries or something.
And then they get the write-off and you don't.
Yeah, that like everything that you're donating, everything you're like, sure, I'll donate today. They're not giving you a fucking charitable donation receipt, and it's like $1 or a few bucks or round up for charity. But that corporation is amassing so much money to donate that is going to be a huge tax write-off for them at basically zero cost. So like, kind of fuck them. Right. And yeah, of course I like supporting charities when I can. I mean, why don't you fucking ask your CEO? Why don't you ask your CEO if he wants to donate? Well,
see, and that's always my thing about like charities and stuff is it's like, why is it incumbent upon like we should do a cross-country road trip? We should get like an RV or something where we could take the dogs.
That sounds like something that people do when they have money.
I know.
It sounds really cozy though. Well, how about when we're old bitches and we're retired?
Yeah, we could get like an RV and
we've both got a collection of late husbands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then I'll be in Geneva, so then we'll do it like across Europe. It'll be really continental. Like let's go down the Atlantic coast, darling. I'll have gotten like a continental accent by then. It's like the kind of thing you can't tell quite where it's from, but it's like it sounds like it could be anything. It could be British or Irish or maybe French or it's like one of those accents. It's just kind of things that like crazy white women develop when they move to another country. They just kind of
the Madonna effect.
Or like the Lindsay Lohan, where it's like, what are you? You know, it's like I just talk with a lot more gravity. Because I enunciate my words differently and I put the emphasis on the wrong syllables. You know?
Yes.
Pretty much every dude that was caught by Me Too is already working again. Louis C.K.'s still out there doing specials. And I'm not saying that they don't have, Aziz Ansari is doing, and I'm not saying that they don't have a right to. I don't know what we're asking of people. Because if the answer is that everyone that is caught by Me Too is destroyed, well then what's going to happen is that they're going to destroy women. You have to consider these things, like what is the ultimate point of what you're doing?
One of the things that I think about is, especially if it's someone that I know, like, okay, first of all, are you recognizing and making an active effort to change who you are as a person? But if you're doing that shit, if you're doing the work, you're putting in work.
Honest truth.
And like nothing is ever going to be enough. Like people have a need. They have a need for like positive reinforcement. They have a need to like, okay, when you're making an effort to suck less, you need that like positive reinforcement to continue.
Yeah.
Right? And if you don't have that, you're going to find it from whoever is willing to give it to you. So if everybody who is like a good person or, someone who is not fucking garbage is just like, nope, fuck you, nothing you ever do will ever, can ever be enough. Fuck you forever until you die. Well then, like, we're social creatures. We're gonna find the people who are willing to socially support us. And if that's the case, like the only people who are going to be socially supporting those people are going to be fucking incels and supremacists and like really, it's like the way that incarcerated people are like pretty likely to recidivate. Mm-hmm. Like recidivism rates are really, really high when the only people that you know socially and are willing to spend time with you are other criminals. And when you've spent a bunch of time around other people who are teaching you new ways to be criminal and also feel like, yeah, fuck this, fuck the system, like you end up being like the only group you have are people who like are really, really terrible. And
Right.
so it's this sort of like this like abuser echo chamber, and you just double down, and like that's terrifying to me.
I was listening to a podcast where they were talking about. They were mainly talking about like, he was like this bad boyfriend. He was like really socially manipulative and all this stuff. Yeah, nothing you just listed is like criminal, though. That's the problem. Because I know that there were like very serious like criminal allegations about him, rape, and that like those were swirling around before this girl even broke up with this guy. Like, none of that mattered until he was like a bad boyfriend, or until when somebody was like exiled from the friend group. Then all of a sudden his behavior was problematic, but not the whole time that it was like an open secret he was like raping people. This behavior only becomes problematic when it affects people personally, some way that they've never been treated before, because you were a person that was used to being treated a certain way. Right. So that like when you got shut out of the friend group by this guy who's a complete fucking piece of shit, rapist, like you were fine with the fact that he was a rapist, when you felt that was going to give you some social advantage. Like a friendship with him was going to equal a social advantage to you. But then once he was done with you socially, then his rapey behavior was a problem.
Right.
It's like, you know what I mean? It's like that.
I know exactly what you fucking mean. My first exposure, I didn't know who the fuck he was. I had no reason to know who he was.
I didn't realize he was the person backstage with me in the green room at that storytelling show.
That was my first time ever seeing him. And he told a story, which a lot of men do. Like, we've talked about this with certain men that we know, where they sort of decide to spin their own redemption story.
Yes.
They're like, hey, look, I was terrible. I did all of these, like, let me catalog all the ways that I completely harmed and fucked over this woman. Yeah, I was real bad. Guys, I was so bad. I was so terrible. Let me just regale you with some of my stories. It was it was terrible. But, oh, man, I did all these. I was fucking terrible. I made this girl anorexic and anxious, and, like, I made her question her own fucking... I was very bad. And I did all of and it's like, are you, like... It's like you're jerking off to this. And he told this story that was supposed to... I don't know what the goal was there. Like, yeah, hey, see, I used to be super bad, but I've changed. And there's no real evidence.
It was the ultimate like humble brag, which was like, I'm actually not really sorry about this. I really just want to tell you the story about like how powerful my cock is.
Yeah, and that's exactly how like it was nauseating. Like, you told your story about like, you know, sort of finding your power in a relationship with a man who made you feel powerless. Another woman told her story about like finding meaning in life after her sister committed suicide. He told a story about how he like ruthlessly victimized this woman, but he's not like that anymore. With no evidence, nothing to really show us this nonsense.
Do a think mom arm, but also have some M&Ms, bitch.
I thought you were offloading them. And it was
also,
just, like,
take them away.
Yeah, it was just this really. It was like, what are you doing? Like, what do you think I, as the audience member, what do you think I am? What am I supposed to say? Like, what's my script here?
Here's my story. So we're backstage, and me and Jackie Cation, who is like my, you know, drag people have like drag moms, right? So I just love her. Yeah. Like, we don't like hang out or anything, but like when we do see each other, when we interact online and stuff, it's just like a very kind of positive, reinforcing energy, right? And she was one of the people where I was like, when people make fun of the anime porn, and she was like, you tell them, you ask them how much they made driving for Uber this week, and then you walk away. But so we're both backstage, okay, and neither of us knew who, and somehow the subject of herpes came up, right? Like, in the room. And someone else in the room was saying, you know, 9 out of 10 people over 40 have some form of the herpes virus. And he goes like, he's like all uncomfortable and skinny and like, and I was like, this guy's like fucking stupid and gross. Yeah. No game. This guy has no sauce.
No.
Whatsoever.
No.
Zero fucking sauce.
Yeah.
And that's like before he even told a story. Like, I don't know. So he says that, right? Me and Jackie just both looked at each other. She was sitting in this chair and I was like sitting on the arm of the chair. We just like looked at each other at the same time. Like
a child.
Like ESP, just like real badass here. Badass alert. Yeah, this guy's real slutty. This guy gets laid all the time. Like, nothing needed to be said. It was just this, like, we're both looking, fucking amateur. Like, are you scared of herpes? Mr. like free sex, open, wild, like I fucking it. Like you think you don't have it? You think you haven't fucked someone with it? You're in Los Angeles, son. It's just always like, huh, that's like people always say that are the people that have it. And me and her were just like, this trick. Oh, right here.
Piece of shit.
This dumb child that's just going on about like what a fucking stud he is. It was just like, it was like, girl.
Could somebody please find a chair for this man? Because
Yeah.
he needs to take a fucking seat.
Like, take a fucking seat. And he was just like so skinny and awkward with that weird haircut. And like as soon as I walked in, I just saw someone that was trying too hard.
Yeah.
You know, I just saw someone that was like desperately wanted to be seen as
Yes.
someone that was cool and with it. And the minute you walk in the room with these people that are trying too hard, you sense it like a mile away. You're like, oh, this is someone that like has to constantly create contexts in which women feel that they have to fuck him to get acceptance or validation or
Right.
like or whatever. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like he has to create these contexts, hence he has to create his little mafia around him. Like he has to
Yeah.
create a whole social context within which he is now positioned as like a power
Like
person.
king shit a fuck
Yeah.
mountain. Here's the fucking thing though. I go to this goddamn thing. I'm on like a medium a date with a girl. And I had a girlfriend. We were in an open relationship. Fucking girlfriend shows up at this thing. Which was super awkward because like she's trying to girlfriend all over me and it's like, dude, we have an open relationship. I'm on a date right now. Kind of. I don't know. It's weird. Both of these women mostly just wanted to come because they wanted to fuck him. Both of these women
Guarantee you he gave you herpes, bitch.
both of these women are women who are like they'll break their fucking arm patting themselves on the back about how like woke and feminist and all the shit that they are. Both of these women were like
And they're both like hardcore pick-me bitches.
super fucking pick me. And then he tells this story, which like any sane person hears this and it's like, wow, you are bragging about the ways that you like psychologically damaged a woman
Yeah.
and trying to use that as a way to show like what a good guy you are now with no evidence to the contrary. Like any smart person is hearing this and just being like, what the fuck do you think you're saying?
Yeah.
Because like you should have shopped this a little bit. You should have workshopped this with like human beings that are not psychopaths.
Yeah.
And both of these fucking women still after that still were like
And how much do you want to bet that after this news came out that both of them were tweeting and Facebooking about what a piece of shit he was?
Promise you at least one did.
I know at least one did.
Mm-hmm. And
It's
like
just-
you don't know, like you can't always know, but in that moment like we all heard the same fucking story.
Yeah.
If you heard that story,
No one I know that went to that event, everyone talked about him. Everyone.
Yeah.
But like in this room, it's like, can you believe that fucking guy?
yeah,
Can you believe that fucking haircut that came in here? And like spun us that story of like utter bullshit, falsehood, lies, pandering, fake ass bullshit. Remember that guy that told that full of shit story that was just fake ass, broke ass, no good, nasty, lying, mischievous subterfuge? This fucking con man, salesman trying to sell us this load of bullshit wherein
you're in a room full of chicanery.
Yeah.
You think we don't fucking know?
like
You think
what?
we don't fucking smell her?
Like, bitch, you were surrounded by stand-up comedians right now. Do you think any of us don't know you are completely full of shit and positive for fucking herpes virus 1 and 2, most likely? Because he's like, me, it's just people with herpes that say that. And me and Jack, like, the look we were giving each other was like, oh, this bitch has herpes. Like, that's like our instant look was like, oh, he has herpes. He doesn't want us to know. He's gonna do this.
He doth protest too much.
Well, because that's the thing is, like, the person that's like, ooh, like, herpes is gross is the same person that's going to give it to you.
Yeah.
Because they know they have it, and they're fucking shameless.
I love you.
Mwah. Okay. Oh, wait, do you want to plug anything real quick?
I'm at Ela Darling, Ela Darling on Insta and Twitter. Gonzo VR on Steam. Please don't come and talk about porn. It's live VR. You have to have a VR headset. And I have to pee so bad right now. I'm gonna go do that. It's my next big project.
Bye.
BRB.